morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody. What is going on? Monday, December 15th, 8 a.m. on the dot. The hell am I? Am I going to do any more shows from the studio, or am I just going to be out and about? Thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for hanging out. If you were here last night, hanging out as well, watching the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns, doing a little post-game show action, I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully everybody had a nice weekend. Hopefully everybody's enjoying their sports. Here we are closing in on 2025. What the hell happened to 2025? How'd we lose 2025 so quick? We got a lot of great stuff to get into in today's show. Some really, really good topics. I'm actually really looking forward to today's show. A lot of good stuff over the weekend, and then a lot of stuff that came out of last night's game, so I'm looking forward to that. No guests today, so we're just going to be hanging out. Cheers to all of you guys, whatever you're drinking. I got a nice cup of coffee going here. A little bit of creamer in this one. Not in my intermittent fasting state today. You know what? Sometimes you just gotta break things up a little bit. All right, we got a fun show lined up. Like I mentioned, we got some topics. I'm gonna give everyone a quick rundown of what we got going on for the show. I'll read a few of your comments before we get started, and then we'll get the show started. So I won't be, by the way, just give everyone an idea about the week. Today, do a show in the morning. Tomorrow, do a show in the morning. I'm going to take Wednesday off. Wednesday, no show. Back on Thursday. Mark Medina on Thursday. Friday, a regular show as well. Tomorrow, Eric Pincus. So just give everyone a quick little heads up on what we got going on for the week. Okay, let's start looking at I'm going to hold off on some of the comments here as they kind of start to roll in. Good morning to everyone. Let me give everyone a quick rundown what we got going on for the show. Looking forward to today's show for a number of different reasons. Welcoming in a new partner today into our show as well, so I'm looking forward to that. Let's kind of start talking about what we're going to hit on for today's show. Wild win last night. Obviously, the Lakers. I don't even know how you want me to describe yesterday's game, but I did do a full post-game show last night. Kind of a more in-depth analysis of the game. Thought the Lakers had it. Thought the Lakers were going to lose. Lakers figure out a way to close out the game, finish it up, and actually get the win. So we'll get into some of the details of that game. I want to spend some time on Jared Vanderbilt this morning. I want to spend some time on the Lakers bench this morning. I think there's a lot of kind of good things that we could take away from the game that I think are positives, that you can actually look at the Lakers from a big picture perspective and certainly find ways to, I guess, complement the Lakers bench. But then also there's got to be some consistency from this Lakers bench. So we'll hit on that a little bit. Dillon Brooks. Oh, Dillon Brooks. You know what I can't stand? Let me tell you guys something I can't stand. Oh, if you're going to run your mouth when things are going good, can you please do me a favor and step in front of a couple of reporters when things aren't going that well, so you could at least also be present when things are not going well? Dillon Brooks, a little bit of a front runner last night, but that's kind of been Dillon Brooks. Man, I'll be honest. You know, I know a lot of people don't like him. I don't mind his style. I think there's a great fit for Dillon Brooks in the NBA. I think he, kind of adds some nuances that are unique, and he's a good basketball player. But brother, I mean, if you're going to be so quick to jump in front of a microphone when things are going good, can you not dodge the reporters after the game? Dillon Brooks yesterday, we'll talk a little bit about him. The final free throw, if you guys remember this, Dillon Brooks gets a technical foul. LeBron goes up to the free throw line, misses the free throw. And he was asked about it after the game. It was kind of a weird exchange. I don't really know what to make of it. Why was LeBron taking it? Luka should have been taking it. LeBron saying, well, I could take those free throws. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. We'll get into that. Reaves, obviously, and any other nuances of last night's game we'll get into as well. Reaves' injury, I do want to talk about how cautious the Lakers are going to be in regards to Austin Reaves. There's a lot of Giannis chatter. I wrote these down in my notes yesterday. Guys, I don't know what to tell you, but everybody has something to say about Giannis, and I don't know which way to look. Chris Haynes said something over the weekend. Zach Lowe said something over the weekend. Mark Stein said something over the weekend. Sam Amick said something over the weekend. And all four of those things are different things. maybe you could say what Zach Lowe and Mark Stein said are probably the closest together, but everything else is all over the place. By the time Chris Haynes is done talking, you're like, he could come to the Lakers. By the time Sam Amick's done talking, you're like, he's going to Miami. By the time Zach Lowe and Mark Stein are talking, it's like, yeah, they're not going to go after that type of a player. They're going to try to find somebody within Luka and Austin Reaves' age. So again, to some of that stuff. Got some good NBA news around the league. I thought the NBA Cup semifinals, I thought San Antonio and Oklahoma City might have been the best NBA game that I've watched so far this year. Oklahoma City Thunder, the San Antonio Spurs, that could be the two best teams in the Western Conference. They could be. San Antonio could be the second best team in the Western Conference, and we're all just kind of not sleeping on them, but we're all like, wait, aren't you guys supposed to be better down the road, not this early? We'll do the weekend recap, quick look at the NFL standings, and then we'll get the hell out of here. So thank you all for being a part of the show. Please do me a favor if you guys don't mind. Just subscribe to the channel. That's all we ask. It's very, very, it helps a ton if it helps a ton, obviously, if you're able to do that. Helps the channel a ton. We're continuing to grow the channel, doing everything we can to try to grow the channel, and we're definitely finding ways of doing that. Just hit 34,000 subscribers, so shout out to everybody that has subscribed, was already a subscriber, or just has recently subscribed. So thank you very much for that. All right, let's take a look at a couple of the comments here, and then we'll go from there. This is an interesting angle. 43 free throws. Lakers would have lost by 20 if playoff game. Yeah, I saw some angles from the Phoenix Suns, either fans there or maybe fans that just don't like the Lakers. Of basically Lakers were handed the win last night. How about this? How about Dillon Brooks doesn't go chest to chest with LeBron when Phoenix is up 1? And how about Devin Booker doesn't foul LeBron on a 3 and Phoenix wins that game? I love how quick everybody is to like just point the finger. Like, it's that guy's fault. It's the referee's fault. It's this. How about Phoenix just aren't dumbasses towards the game and they win that game? Lakers were doing everything to give that game up. All right, let's get some more here. Good morning. Anybody else drinking some coffee? Cheers to you, brother. Cheers to you. What's better than a cup of coffee in the morning, guys? Not many things better than a cup of coffee in the morning. All right, I'm going to save this one. We'll hit on Vando. Somebody wants to talk about Vando and JJ Redick. I'll save that one. Still confused about the game, Slee. I am as well. Health is not just about what you're eating. It's also about what you're thinking and saying. Ocean Breeze. Ocean Breeze always coming through. Always coming through. Do we got competing quotes here? People often say that motivation doesn't last. Neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. Ooh. Okay. All right, we got some competing quotes here. All right, let's get the show started. I appreciate you guys hanging out. This will be a fun, entertaining show, and we got a lot of stuff that we could hit on this morning. So last night, obviously, Lakers and the Phoenix Suns, just a kind of a roller coaster. You thought for a second there, you got to that third quarter, Lakers started cruising, and you're saying to yourself, wow, Lakers are going to end up winning this game by 15, 18 points, 20 points. Phenomenal. Coming off that loss to the San Antonio Spurs, a lot of conversation about the Lakers right now around the league, and I think not too big of a shock. Hey, this is what the Lakers need. They need defensive players. They need a defensive identity. You just can't really compete unless you have more defensive players. And it was just, I think there was a lot to come off of over these last couple of days leading into this game against the Phoenix Suns. The Suns had punked the Lakers in LA about 2 weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago today. So, I thought there were some good storylines. I think the two teams don't really like each other, which I love. I think there's some good storylines in this game. Mark Williams, DeAndre Ayton, Dillon Brooks, LeBron James. It just kind of feels like, hey, I don't think these guys are I don't really think they like each other all that much. I like that. I like these extra stories or extra topics that we can get into. It makes a regular season game in December more exciting. Lakers go on a 24-0 run between the third and the fourth quarter. And then you had One thing that happened that kind of started changing a little bit of the landscape of the game. It was a bad pass by Marcus Smart. Just, go get a layup. Lakers go up 22, and probably the game is over. Instead, he tries to throw it behind his back. There's a defender between him and Vando. And then kind of things start turning a little bit of momentum towards Phoenix. Lakers were still up, by 14 or so, something along those lines with about 4.5 left when Luka hits a three. And then again, now it becomes prevent defense. The way the Lakers got the lead, they completely go away from. And unfortunately for the Lakers, they start going away from some of the players that built the lead. That was Jake LaRavia. That was Jared Vanderbilt. That was Gabe Vincent. It was Jackson Hayes. LeBron was on the floor at that time as well. And then next thing you know, you're looking at the score, and it's like, it's a 9-point game. It's a 7-point game. It's a 4-point game. It's a 2-point game. And then you end up just, I'm like, how did this happen? It happened so quick, and there's no sense of urgency, and the Lakers just keep kind of trying to play the clock. They got lucky that they ended up winning the game. I think a few things stand out to me. By the way, they won the game. So just kind of, we could simplify this. They did end up winning the game. And that is the thing that matters the most of as much of the conversation that we want to have. And trust me, there are areas that part of it are concern. And I would tell you part of it is there's a lot of optimism just because it looked like the Lakers actually had a full team yesterday. They weren't just depending on 3-4 guys or 5 guys or whatever the case is. But there were certainly areas of last night's game the Lakers could have been better on. I thought JJ screwed up a lot of things by not keeping the lineup in that stretched the lead. I thought not really running any plays and just waiting for the clock to wind down. That's mistakes by Luka, mistakes by LeBron, mistakes by JJ Redick. There was mistakes by Marcus Smart towards the end of the game. So there are a lot of things that, obviously the Lakers will have to clean up. But my biggest takeaway and the biggest takeaway from the game should be that the Lakers had a player in Jared Vanderbilt that has basically not played in 10 games, and they had a bench that finally did something. I was writing in my notes here that what I don't think you need, the Lakers don't need the best bench in the NBA, but they need something. You got to get something. Last night was great because they got something from the bench, and it was wildly unexpected. Nobody expected the bench to do anything. Why would you? I kind of found it funny yesterday when I'm doing the post-game show. And I'm talking to myself, and here I am really, really complimenting the Lakers bench. And it just felt weird to be complimenting the Lakers bench. I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I doing that? I'm like, Lakers don't win without Vando. Well, when's the last time anybody has said that? When's the last time anybody said Vando's name? I'd say in the last week, you kind of started hearing a little bit more chatter around Jared Vanderbilt. And it's been a little bit more like, hey, if the team can't play a lick of defense and you got a player on your roster that's only there for defense, why don't you play him? Why don't you just try him? But I thought last night, Jake LaRavia I was getting ready. I really was. I was like, in the first half, I'm watching Jake LaRavia play, and it was another one of those games where I'm like, LaRavia's not doing anything for the Lakers. If there's a time to kind of lay into Jake LaRavia, it would be in this game, in the first half. So I write down some notes about Jake LaRavia. I'm like, this guy's done nothing in the last month. I don't remember ever even talking about him or anything. LaRavia was great. I thought Gabe Vincent gave the Lakers some phenomenal minutes. Vando was the player of the game. And the reason why this is so important for the Lakers is because they really, truly have no depth right now. And one of the reasons why I think a lot of people are pessimistic about the Lakers is their defense and their lack of depth. Their lack of defense and their lack of depth. Here's how the bench can help the Lakers out. They don't have to be the best bench in the league. You don't need to go out there and have the 6th man of the year on the Lakers. You don't need any of that stuff. Be scrappy. Do the small things. Get rebounds. Get deflections. You got to give something. And I thought that group yesterday, obviously led by Vando, they offered a little bit of this toughness and this grit that we haven't seen in the Lakers in the last couple of weeks. And I think if the team is going to obviously improve, clearly they got to go out there and go make some type of trade. There's a lot of things that the Lakers are going to need. Your bench can't be a 0 every single night. And their bench was not a zero last night. Their bench actually had a big reason to do with why the Lakers ended up winning that game. I think the Vando piece of this is, again, you got a team that's given up their 20th in the NBA, something along those lines, their defensive rating over this handful of games. If you got a team playing that bad on the defensive side, let's give Vando some opportunities and see if he could kind of change the script a little bit. Part of that's also going to be on JJ. I do think right now, if there are things with JJ Redick that sometimes he can get stubborn in, I think it's areas like that. Well, I haven't used Vando. I'm going to continue not using Vando. No, try something different. I mean, if there's ever a time that you want to be trying things, it is in December. So I thought last night was fun to see Vando, fun to see the bench, and then the Lakers barely hold on and they get a win. And yes, it was concerning at the end of the game, but they got the W, and we could talk about the Lakers bench, and we could talk about Vando, and we don't have to talk about a collapse, even though they collapsed, but they ended up winning the game. There was a narrative last night. So yesterday, after I'm done with the show, I go back and I'm listening to some of the interviews that I didn't get to hear. I got to hear JJ, but I wanted to hear LeBron. I wanted to hear some of the other guys. I think Ayton I listened to as well. And there were a couple of clips out there. And the narrative was that basically the Lakers were handed the game. There's I'm going to read this title here. Okay. By the way, these titles are funny. And I get it. Listen, I get this is, there are certain outlets out there that are going to, let's just say a little dramatic. It's not uncommon. You see this all the time. All right. Here's one. LeBron James disgustingly bailed out by refs multiple times as Lakers get handed win over the Suns. That's from Outkick, which I'm pretty sure, I don't think they're a LeBron fan. LeBron James disgustingly bailed out by refs multiple times. Okay, a little dramatic here. But I was listening to the Phoenix Suns, that play that Dillon Brooks hits the three and then turns over to LeBron and ends up getting the technical foul. And I'm listening to the Suns broadcast. They were showing some highlights on YouTube, so I was watching it, and the broadcasters were like, they're not losing it, but here's basically what the broadcaster said: that LeBron fouled Dillon Brooks on that three, and then played victim, and Dillon Brooks basically didn't deserve a technical foul or whatever the case is. And then there was the Devin Booker foul on LeBron. And there was a narrative that I was just kind of watching, and whether it was people online or whether it was Phoenix Suns broadcasters or anything like that, saying that the refs were getting paid under the table, and that's how the Lakers won that game. Look, the free throw disparity was real. There was a big free throw disparity. Lakers took a lot more free throws than the Phoenix Suns. I can give you that. But does somebody want to tell me how the Lakers were handed a win when Dillon Brooks hits a three and gets mad at LeBron for a foul not getting called? Why don't you go get mad at the referee? Why are you mad at LeBron? What dumbass player hits a three and goes chest to chest with another NBA player, especially LeBron, and doesn't think they're not going to get a technical foul called? You just took a 1-point lead. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. Why don't you just go walk over to the referee and say, I got hit. I got fouled. Why are you mad at LeBron for the referee not calling the foul? So get Devin Booker for a quick second. Devin Booker, Luka looks like he's taking the final shot for the Lakers. Luka ends up kicking it over to LeBron because there's great defense. He jumps. He's got nowhere to go, and it just got lucky by getting the ball over to LeBron. Why is Devin Booker putting his hand out on a three-point attempt to hit LeBron on the wrist? Well, how about you just don't put your hand out? LeBron's probably going to miss that shot, and the Phoenix Suns are going to win. Listen, I found it kind of funny that there were people, whether you're not a Laker fan or maybe you're a Suns fan, whatever, whining that it was the Lakers' fault for them losing. Phoenix, don't be dipshits at the end of the game and you win the game. Dillon Brooks, don't go chest to chest with LeBron when everybody's watching you hit a three to give your team a 1-point lead when you were down 20 and it ain't going to be a problem. Devin Booker, don't put your hand out when LeBron's taking a three at the end of the game, and you're going to win that game. There was some whining that I'm like, am I watching something different here? Again, that's not to say there wasn't a free throw disparity. That's not to say Lakers don't get a call here and there or whatever the case is. But the point that I was trying to make is the Suns had the game. The Suns cost themselves the game. All right, we got a lot more stuff that I want to get into, but I wanted to throw in that Dillon Brooks stuff. Dillon Brooks, for the love of God, please, Dillon Brooks. You got to think, brother. You got to think. I mean, I've said this before. I'll say it again. If Dillon Brooks was a Laker, I'm all in. But that man, he can't not get in his way. And this is the only other thing that bothers me about Dillon Brooks. The guy wants a microphone when it's going good. When it's not going good, he's gone. He's gone. He's not talking to reporters. I mean, come on. Things are going good, get in front of a mic. Things aren't going good, get in front of a mic. He used to do this in Memphis. All right, let's take a look at some of the comments here. All right, let's get this one. Francis, need to play Vando more. We need someone to raise defense. It's contagious when we get some stops. The hell with that Marcus pass. Thinks he's magic. Okay, can I just say this real quick on the Marcus Smart pass? Marcus Smart had great intentions. Marcus Smart, I think, was trying to be unselfish and be like, hey, I got a free layup, but I got Vando behind me. Vando's been doing everything. I'm going to get Vando a bucket. What Marcus didn't realize is right behind him was a Suns player, and then it was Vando. Yeah, that wasn't smart. And then obviously, you're kind of burning some clock, and Marcus Smart goes to the basket and just gets blocked, which led to the eventual Devin Booker three, misses it. Dillon Brooks three. So, yeah, Marcus Smart had a couple of plays, didn't do well. The one thing I will say here about Vando, here's the portion that even last week, I mean, go look at a couple of my videos, go look at a couple of my shorts that I put up. I said that, listen, if the squad can't play a lick of defense, you got a defensive player on your team. Give him some playing time. I mean, it's like the team can't hit a three. Well, if you have a three-point shooter, why don't you get that three-point shooter in a little bit? The team can't get a rebound. Well, if you got a couple of bigs on the bench, why don't you throw them in and maybe you'll get a couple of rebounds? That's what Vando is for the Lakers from a defensive perspective. If the team can't play defense, well, why don't you just try Vando? This is, like I said, if there's ever a time, I had somebody yesterday suggesting to me, he's like, Al, why don't they start Marcus Smart? Why don't they do this? Maybe they bring Breeze off the bench. If you're the Lakers right now, I think it's imperative and it's very important that you try different things in December just to see what works and what doesn't work. That way, you're at least giving a little bit of more information to a guy like Rob Pelinka to figure out, all right, if I'm going to change some of these ingredients here, let me find out what ingredients I know don't work or what do work in this Lakers lineup. Francis, I appreciate the super, brother. Thank you. JJ's comments after the game don't inspire confidence that he's learned his Vando lesson yet. He defaulted to his offensive ways at the end of the game, which almost cost us. Yeah, there was a moment in yesterday's game, and you guys can tell me if you guys feel the same way. I'm spending a lot of time on yesterday's game. But yesterday was one of those games where it was actually very entertaining to watch, which not all of them are in the regular season. And there was a lot of good storylines that came out of the game. But one of the things that for me, just kind of watching towards the end of that or watching that game yesterday, when the Lakers were getting those defensive stops, you can just feel it everywhere. The Lakers bench was up. The broadcasters, I thought Billy Mack and Stu had like a different level of excitement to the broadcast because they were all watching something that was different. And it was like, oh my gosh, this stop after that stop, deflection after deflection, offensive rebound after offensive rebound. There were just straight hustle plays that you appreciated and you respected that led to your offense, that led to big buckets. I'm with you in if something is going your way, why rip it away? That you see that all the time in the NBA. I remember when I used to do the Lakers broadcast. So I'd be there and I do the pregame with Michael. I do halftime, I do postgame. During the entire game, obviously, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to Michael and John doing the broadcast. And Michael would always say, like, he'd always have this line that when a player got hot, a player would hit 3 threes in a row. And that player is just getting into a rhythm. It could be anybody. It could be a Laker player. It could be Klay Thompson. It could be whoever it was, right? Whatever player on either side. Seth, anyways, any shooter. And Michael would always say, he'd be right about this. He'd go, watch, the coach is going to take the player out, not because it's the right move, but because they already wrote it on paper. Hey, at the 6-minute mark, we're taking this guy out. Yeah, but the guy just hit 3 threes. There's too many times, I think, in the NBA where you don't just ride the momentum and you just go back to your default. Yeah, but we already wrote down we're supposed to take this guy out. F it. Who cares what you wrote down? This is working at the moment. I think that happens too many times. Okay, let's keep things moving here. Let's keep things moving here. Vando is a force. This is actually kind of cool to see this many people given as much love as they did to, obviously to Vando here for what he was able to do last night. I didn't understand why JJ didn't go offense to defense at the end of the game. The Suns were hunting Luka. They should be hunting Luka. If they got an advantage, that's how the league works. Yeah, it's interesting here. A lot of people a little bit more critical on the JJ piece this morning. Okay, that's all right. Let's see how that piece progresses the further and further we get along the season. I think that one's going to be kind of fun to watch. So I'm with you guys on that. I'm okay to see how that one develops. All right, I got to give a shout out here to one of our partners, guys. Would like to welcome in Harrah's Resort, Southern California, to our broadcast. Harrah's Resort SoCal joining Hoops Talk. They're going to be here throughout the rest of the season. Man, I'm really excited about this. This is awesome. This is really, really cool. There's a gal there. If you guys remember, this was months ago. I did one of my shows from Harrah's Resort, and we had I've had a relationship with one of the marketing directors there for a number of years. And we've always kept in touch, always had a great relationship, and always had the best interest of each other's business. I used to do ad reads for Harrah's SoCal when I was on radio. And, now this is the second time that I can give a genuine story of a relationship like the one I have with Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm. And here's a great example of Harrah's Resort SoCal, where they're supporting the vision, the show, the channel. Harrah's Resort SoCal is in North San Diego. There's an area called Valley Center, really beautiful, beautiful area. It's just, honestly, it's like a incredibly quiet area. But you got this great resort that's located out there. And it's just really cool to see now some different partners kind of walking in and saying, Sleep, like what you're doing, love the association, talking Lakers basketball, talking NBA. We want to be a part of it. So I think this is going to be a great partnership as well, because there's going to be some opportunities to do some events over at Harrah's SoCal. I'm working with some of their team to see if we can do some giveaways, things like that. So I'm really looking forward to the partnership. So I just want to make a quick introduction to Harrah's Resort SoCal. Shout out to them. By the way, I don't know if you guys know, Gordon Ramsay has that Hell's Kitchen restaurant. The largest Hell's Kitchen is at Harrah's SoCal. I ate there probably 3 months ago. Top notch. Phenomenal restaurant. So anyways, great place to go. It's the 4th largest hotel in San Diego County. Beautiful suites, beautiful rooms. And we'll continue to talk about the partnership as we go on. But an introduction to Harrah's SoCal right here on the channel. Shout out to them for being a part of the partnership. And thank you for supporting our partners as well. HarrahSoCal.com if you're looking to get a getaway. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep rolling here. Look at us. Look at us bringing in the partnerships. Get on in here. Get on in here. Plenty of room. Plenty of space. Did you guys see this exchange? I want you guys to tell me if there's something here or there's nothing here. I don't think I can figure out whether there's something here or there's nothing here. Okay. I'm going to read you guys a couple of quotes. I had the actual clips, but I think it's going to take too long. I would rather just read you guys the actual quotes. Yesterday, after Dillon Brooks got that second technical foul, he bumped the chest of LeBron like a dumbass and got himself kicked out of the game and gave the Lakers a chance to tie the game after Dillon Brooks gave Phoenix a 1-point lead. LeBron goes up to the free throw line. He takes the free throw. He misses. I didn't really make anything of it. I just kind of thought, all right, it's going to be LeBron or Luka. And that was that. After the game, Redick was asked, how do you make a decision of which player should go up to the free throw line at the end of the game? So I guess this season, LeBron has made 62% of his free throws. Luka has made 81% of his free throws. So JJ said, he's kind of giving a political answer. Well, I was over with Luka. We were over at the sidelines. And then, I looked and LeBron was there and LeBron took the free throw. But he also added, Luka should have taken that free throw. That's it. Just simply put, Luka should have taken that free throw. LeBron was asked about it afterwards as well. And LeBron kind of said something to the effect, let me actually play this one. I'll play this one just because I already had it queued up. Again, I'm asking you guys whether big deal, not a big deal, just a communication issue. Is it LeBron saying to himself, guys, I'm LeBron freaking James. Yeah, if I'm going to, I have the ability to go take my own free throw. I could call my own shot on a free throw. And you guys can determine that, but I just want you guys to take a quick listen here. So let me share my screen with you guys. Take a listen to LeBron's response. This is on the final free throw. And the thing I do think is going to happen is I think Luka will probably be taking these free throws at the end of games here. But take a quick listen. Here's what LeBron said at the end of the game.
She just said that he thought Luka would have been taking a technical foul with 12 seconds left. Why did you take the tech?
Shit, I just walked into the free throw line. I mean, why wouldn't I? I'd been okay with Luka taking it too. We've both been in pressure situations, but I just took it. I mean, unfortunately, I missed it, but I made up for it.
Did make up for it. Obviously, hit a couple of free throws there towards the end after he missed the first of 3 free throws, but made 2 more. Lakers ended up winning the game. Here's why it stood out to me. I'll tell you why it stood out to me. LeBron probably literally in the first time in his life is like, I can't take that free throw at the end. What are you talking about? LeBron probably in the first time of his life is going towards the end of a game and the ball's not in his hands. LeBron for the first time in his life is not dictating every single possession, which I think is good. I've told you guys that before. I mean, year 23, that's not what you want from LeBron. What you want LeBron is to play off of Luka, play off of AR, play off of Ayton, play off of some of these other guys and just save LeBron for the end. That was a very weird exchange. So JJ wants LeBron to take it. LeBron's like, I'm already at the free throw. I'm taking the free throw. I'm the one that got, they called it technical. I baited Dillon Brooks into that free throw. I take the final one. He misses it. Obviously had some more opportunities there towards the end. Ends up getting the 3 free throws and wins it. Let's just say this. Can everyone just be on the same page? Whether it's LeBron taking that free throw, Luka taking that free throw. I mean, was Luka walking away from that saying, what's LeBron doing over there? I'm Luka. I take the final free throw. I take the final shot. I dictate what happens towards the end of the game. I'm the star player. I just thought it was a very interesting moment, only because the question was asked. If the question wasn't asked, and if JJ didn't say Luka was supposed to be taking that free throw, then it's not a topic. I'd be on to a different topic. But I thought that was weird. I really did. I thought that was weird. Not trying to make a big deal about it. Not saying that there's drama. I'm not saying any of that stuff. What I'm saying is LeBron is probably still trying to process. Yeah, I don't get to make those calls anymore. I don't get to make those shots anymore. Somebody else on this roster is actually asked to go do all those things that I used to do for 22 years. And it doesn't mean he's not going to get opportunities. He did it in Philly. He got opportunities. He dictated a play against Toronto where the possession went to Rui. It's not that yesterday he got the final shot and hit the free throws. It's not that he's not going to get the opportunities, but it's not him dictating it anymore. All right, let's take a look at some of the comments, and then we got that Reaves update here. This is what ticks me off. Okay, that wasn't the point. My point wasn't to tick everybody off. This is what ticks me off about LeBron. There's always a hierarchy, and everyone on the team knows it all the time. Depends who the best free throw shooter is on the floor. Okay, but here's the thing. How is LeBron not thinking? LeBron in his head is like, yeah, of course, shit still runs through me. It doesn't. And I'm glad LeBron started to realize that on December 14th, 15th today, 14th yesterday. But there could be a hierarchy. LeBron's never had to worry about LeBron has always been on the top of the hierarchy. I mean, even in previous years, can you imagine? It wouldn't be crazy, but just let me play out a scenario. That happened, and Anthony Davis just walks up to the free throw line, takes the free throw and misses it without consulting LeBron or the head coach. LeBron would be like, what the F are you doing here? I'm LeBron. I take those shots. 2 alphas, simple as that. Yes. But you're going to need some. I don't care that there's 2 alphas. I don't care about any of that stuff. How about everybody's on the same page? Because what you don't want your head coach saying is he wasn't supposed to. That alpha wasn't supposed to take it. It was supposed to be the other alpha that's supposed to be taking it. All right, let's see what else we have here. Luka looked puzzled. All right, that's enough. Braun, guys, I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I don't give a shit who takes the free throw. All I'm saying is Luka, LeBron, and JJ Redick should all be on the same page of who takes the final free throw. If it's LeBron that takes it, like I said, I'm not here to question. If LeBron took it, nobody's going to be like, why would LeBron take it? If Vando took it, we have an issue. Obviously, if I don't know, if Rui, even if I don't even know if Rui, if Rui took it, we'd be like, why would Rui take it and not LeBron or Luka? It's not the fact of who took it. It's the fact that 3 people all had different decisions in their mind at the most critical point of the game. 3 different players, the 3 most important individuals on the Lakers in yesterday's game, your head coach and then your 2 stars. Nobody was on the same page. All right, I won't go too much further into that, but I think that was very interesting. All right, let's see what we got here. You sound ridiculous. You're questioning the leading scorer in NBA history because taking a foul shot. You people are delusional. Or the head coach of the Lakers said, yeah, he shouldn't be taking that free throw shot. That's all. That's all. That to me at the end of the day is the only thing that mattered. What matters is what your head coach, and the head coach was on a different page than LeBron, and Luka was on a different page than them as well. So how about this? How about let's all be on the same page towards the end of the game and everybody knows who's taking that final shot. That's it. That's all. Okay, let's keep moving here. You know, one of the things that kind of didn't get as much run or conversation yesterday, unfortunately, is the fact that Austin Reaves got a little injury that he's dealing with. And there's some areas of, let me see this here real quick. There's some areas of this that, listen, I think there's a little concern there. I mean, Austin Reaves has been phenomenal for the Lakers this year. Phenomenal. Just phenomenal. And I know there's a lot of people out there that I don't think they got anything personal against Austin Reaves. I think there's just more of the thought process of, Al, I don't know about Austin Reaves and Luka in the backcourt. It's not enough defense. Austin Reaves he's at the height of his trade value. Now's the time to trade him. I don't think people have anything personal against Austin Reaves. I think they're trying to look at things from a basketball perspective, and they're trying to look at things from a Laker perspective. And I think based on those 2 things, or based on those few things right there, I think there are a lot of people. I think it might seem like Laker fans are hating on Austin Reaves. I don't think they are. I think they like Austin Reaves, but I think they're looking for what's the best way of using Reaves, or is Reaves better off as a trade chip to go try to get, a big time player? By the way, that's how the Lakers have perceived Austin Reaves. If they do trade him, it's going to be for a big time player. So there's some news that came out a couple days ago. Austin Reaves didn't play last night. He's not going to play in this upcoming game against the Utah Jazz coming up on Thursday. And here's the exact quote that I want to grab. By the way, it's a calf injury. I put the exact word. It's a mild calf injury is what they're calling it. So let me just put here. So that's, obviously, I think anytime anybody mentions that, you start getting concerned. But let me read a couple things here from JJ Redick. And I'm curious how the Lakers kind of approach this with Austin Reaves. By the way, I'm also curious about how Austin Reaves approaches this. A left calf strain. So he's going to be out at least a week. I think they're going to reevaluate him in a week. It's listed as a mild calf strain, so something to keep in mind. Here's Austin Reaves, or here's JJ Redick. He said, for him, it's hard to pinpoint an exact time during the game. It had started to tighten up the day before, even though he did very light work intentionally, just one of those things that we're obviously going to be cautious about it. Here's what else he said. Let's see. I would venture to say every player is a little different, but players now are becoming more cautious, to use that word again, more cautious when they get those diagnoses with the calf, but everything looks clean. It's not in the deep part. It should be a week. So JJ Redick obviously talking about Austin Reaves and the injury. If you look at the last couple of games for Austin Reaves, on the season, he's been phenomenal, been great. And if anybody doesn't think Austin Reaves has been great, then you're hating on Austin Reaves. He's been phenomenal for the Lakers this year. Phenomenal. I mean, night in and night out has been a big reason to do why the Lakers are 11 games over 500 and we're the midpoint of December. Doesn't mean Lakers are going to go win a championship, but it means Austin Reaves has been really, really good. His last 2 games with the Lakers, he scored 13 points, making 28% of his shots, 9 for 32 from the field, and also stopped being able to get to the free throw line. So maybe this injury has something to do with it. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But I know this. I know that type of injury, of course, they're going to be very, very cautious about. And if I'm Austin Reaves, I'm wildly cautious about how I'm feeling, if I'm healthy. I mean, the man is about to get paid. Some of the numbers that are being thrown, you know what the floor is for Austin Reaves is now? Minimum 30 a year after this year, Austin Reaves is going to get minimum. Probably closer to that 40 range, maybe a little more, maybe a little less a year per season. Man's about to get paid. So I'm sure there's going to be this balance of, all right, I got to make sure 1000% that this isn't leading to something else. Like we've seen in the NBA, a lot of these calf strains, instantly people start thinking about, oh my gosh, what does this mean? Can it lead to a bigger injury? So Austin Reaves got a couple things that he's got to, juggle here, and so do the Lakers. The good thing is, if I'm the Lakers, is Austin Reaves has basically carried the Lakers for the first quarter of the season. Now it's his chance to be healthy because LeBron's had opportunities to rest or get healthy. So has Luka. So has Marcus Smart. There's been a number of guys that have been kind of in and out of the lineup. Reaves has been the more consistent player for the Lakers. So that type of injury, yes. If we don't see Austin Reaves, I know they got, a good handful of days off before their next game. I don't think they play again until Thursday. And then, they'll play Thursday and Saturday, and the schedule will kind of start getting to normal again after the NBA Cup is all done. But if I'm Austin Reaves, I'm being very cautious, and I'm making sure that, I'm dotting my I's and I'm crossing my T's. It's a big year for Austin Reaves, and not only does he want to do everything he can for the Lakers, but he also wants to take care of himself. All right, let's see what we got here. Take a look at some of the comments here. AR will walk if we don't pay him a max. I don't think so. I think Austin Reaves wants to be a Laker. I think it's up to the Lakers, to be honest with you. I think if they give him a reasonable deal that's in the ballpark of what other teams would give him, I think he'll sign with the Lakers. Plus, they can give him 5 years where other teams can give him 4. So I think Austin Reaves wants to be a Laker. And I think his connection with Luka Doncic is real. That friendship is real. And I do think that those two can play well together, but you got to have a pretty much perfect team around those guys if that's going to be your backcourt. But I don't think this is a, hey, pay him the max or he's going to walk. It's not. Lakers can give him more money than anybody else. They could also give him more years than anybody else. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to, but I think the Lakers certainly would want to keep him. By the way, I got some stuff in here that's going to tie into Austin Reaves with some of this Giannis chatter that I mentioned a little bit earlier. If you guys remember, I was talking about how all of a sudden with the Giannis conversation, there's so many different narratives everybody has. But I'm going to get into that in just a second. I'm going to read a few more of these comments. Those bad AR games won't look so good when he's paid $150 million. Okay. I get that concern. I get what a lot of people are saying. It's when he's making $14 million a year, $15 million a year, he's obviously 2.5 times what his contract is worth of his production. Well, when he starts getting paid that money, then you're expected to do it every single night. Reaves is the only true Laker. I think what you mean by that in the sense is he came through the system. A lot of these other players came from other teams. All right, let's keep going here. Let's see what we got here. Let me squeeze this one in, and then I'm gonna move to Giannis. I don't think you're wrong here. On a championship team, I will tell you this: on a championship team, AR has to be the third best player at best. I agree with you. I don't disagree with you. But I also don't think the Lakers would be signing AR thinking AR and Luka are taking them to the promised land. That ain't happening. It's going to have to be Luka, AR, and then obviously some unbelievable talent out there as well, and some other big-time players if they have the capability of doing it. And maybe it's going to cost the Lakers trading Austin Reaves in order to get that next big player. Maybe it is. I mean, I almost, in a way, I don't think they can do wrong here. If it's Austin Reaves that's on your team because you don't feel like you got good enough value, then that's a different conversation. But if it's Austin Reaves and you're saying, well, we're not giving up Austin Reaves and we don't care what the type of talent is that's coming back, then that's obviously malpractice. They're not doing their job. I think they really, really want to keep AR, but I also don't think they're idiots. And if there's a package out there that makes sense, then I think the Lakers would act on it. But I think they want to keep him. I think that would be their preference, is to keep him because of his age, because of his relationship with Luka. I think there's a lot of reasons why they want to keep him. And he's a really good effing player. So there's another reason why. All right, let's move on here. I got to get into this Giannis stuff. And for those who, I just want you guys to understand, every Giannis conversation I'm going to have, I'm tying it to the Lakers. So this isn't just where's Giannis going. I want to kind of break down over the weekend what happened, because there were a lot of individuals that started talking about Giannis, really good NBA experts, insiders, and there's a lot of angles here that I think bring us back to what are the Lakers going to do? Do they have a shot at Giannis? Does Reaves go? All that other stuff. Okay. So let me kind of name off, and I'm going to go through some of this. Okay. Chris Haynes said that there is here. I'll actually read some of the quotes here. Here's what Chris Haynes said. Chris Haynes said, he was telling Rachel Nichols this in a conversation on Saturday. Preferably, I think he'd like to have some sun. He'd like to be probably in a big market. Outside of that, he just wants to be on a team where he can contend for a championship. He's been very adamant about that being a main priority. Okay. This is the first time now that we've heard this. Giannis, according to Chris Haynes, who does have phenomenal contacts in the NBA, according to Chris Haynes, preferably would like to be in a warm weather state or city. Okay. That could mean Miami. That could mean LA. That could mean some, potential other destinations out there. But okay, that's what Chris Haynes said. So just kind of keep that one in mind. Zach Lowe, the ringer Zach Lowe. Let me read what he said. So there's one angle here, Chris Haynes, where it's like, hey, maybe Lakers got a shot. Here's Zach Lowe. I think the Lakers, there's been the dichotomy of either the Lakers stand pat or they try to make some crazy Giannis trade that involves Reaves and all their picks. There may be a middle ground where the Lakers, there's some buzz about they could sort of make a fringy trade to try to upgrade the roster. I think as this new ownership comes in, I think they're trying to maximize this team. All right. Now there's a potential trade out there, or now there's a conversation from Zach Lowe, who's basically saying, no, I don't think they're going all in for Giannis. There could be another angle here where the Lakers say, we can't go out and get the big fish, but let's go and get a couple more pieces that make sense for this team, get a little bit more depth, get some more bench help, see if we can get one of those 3-and-D players. Let's keep Austin Reaves. All right. That's, obviously another angle there from somebody else. All right. Sam Amick. Here's what Sam Amick said. The Miami Heat, for example, are often handicapped by league insiders as a place that Giannis Antetokounmpo might be willing to call his new basketball home. Pat Riley and a company could offer. He goes through a list of what they can offer. If the Knicks thing is too hard to execute, he may look at Miami to try to make that work with some of those guys they have. So 4 guys, all great NBA insiders. Chris Haynes leaning towards warm weather. Maybe that means Miami. Maybe that means LA. Championship contender. Zach Lowe talking about, nope, not a big splash, a big crazy trade. They'll probably do something that's a little bit smaller so they don't go after a guy like Giannis, and they most likely keep Austin Reaves. You got Sam Amick that's like, hey, if it ain't New York, it would be Miami. That would be second on his list. Everybody is a little bit everywhere. Everybody's got, obviously opinion of where they think Giannis is going to go. Again, nobody's guaranteeing. Nobody's coming out and saying, my sources tell me this is where he's going to go. But that dialogue and that conversation is, look how many different people, and the Lakers obviously tied into this entire mix. Look at all the different scenarios that can play out around Giannis and the ripple effect that could potentially have on the Lakers. There was one more that I want to read, and this was from Mark Stein. And for me, I do think if I had to make a prediction of which one of all these scenarios that were thrown out there, I do think what Zach Lowe said, and I do think what Mark Stein is, what I'm about to read, is probably the most likely the path that the Lakers go down. Because I just don't think they have the package that other teams are going to have to go get Giannis. And B, I think this is just more realistic, unless Giannis says, I want to go be a Los Angeles Laker. So let me kind of read one more thing here. Mark Stein said Lakers would naturally like to be in the 3-and-D market. He talked about most of the people right now are looking at Keon Ellis, even though Keon Ellis is a little bit smaller in size. Here's what he did say, which I think is interesting. Whether the Lakers go after Keon Ellis, Herb Jones, or another player, Stein noted that they are hoping to land players around the same age as Luka and Austin Reaves, keeping the focus on building a roster capable of competing both now and in the future. So, maybe there is going to be a little bit of an approach from this new ownership that's not always trying to go all in, all in, all in. Maybe this ownership is going to be looking at things and saying, okay, we're probably not going to get our hands on Giannis unless Giannis wants to be a Laker. We're probably then going to have to build around Luka and Austin Reaves for now. Maybe that changes with Austin Reaves. We know that's not going to change for the Luka side of things. And once we do get to that point, once we get to, that obviously wanting to build around guys around 26, 27 years old. There's other players I saw on here that was part of Mark Stein's article, contributors like Robert Williams III, who's 28 years old. Herb Jones is 27. Trey Murphy III is 25. Daniel Gafford is 27. Rather, where Giannis is, I think, 31, about to turn 32. There is a little bit of, let's try to keep guys in the same window here so they can play together for 3, 4, 5 years and we can build some consistency, which I don't think is an awful game plan myself. So I think that just kind of tells you how all over the place everybody is, but I think the one thing you can't take away from all this, Lakers ain't staying pat. That part I think we can all agree to, that the Lakers, no question about it, understand and realize that they just can't keep this roster by the time you get to February or something along those lines. So we'll see what happens in regards to that, and we'll go from there. All right. Let me look at a couple of comments here. Let's see what we got here. Let's take a look at some of these comments. Okay, I got a couple people here talking about, continuing to hit. If the Kings going to rebuild, I try to get Sabonis. Sabonis is, in my opinion, the only player on that roster. Keon Ellis is obviously certainly a nice role player, but Sabonis, that man needs to find he's got to find a different spot. I mean, that poor guy is on a roster now in a franchise. This guy used to have De'Aaron Fox next to him. Used to have a team that was, obviously very talented. I'm not telling you that they're going to get Sabonis, but Sabonis just needs to go somewhere else, anywhere else, and eventually leave the Sacramento Kings. All right, we got NBA news, NBA Cup Finals, weekend recap, NFL standings. We still got a lot of things that I want to hit on before I do. Shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm. Enjoyed my time with him on Friday, doing the show, doing the podcast from there. Had some great conversations with him just in general about how things are going. Give a shout out to the listeners here real quick. He told me a couple different occasions now where he's had listeners of this show reach out to him and just, inquiries. Hey, Al has always talked about you on the channel. I got kind of a situation going on. I'm not sure how to handle it. Can you point me in the right direction? And Brad Wallace has been able to do that. So I appreciate you guys leaning on one of our partners and our advertisers to try to help you. If you're in a serious injury, a wrongful death case, and you're in a situation where you need somebody to just kind of assist you, where the hell do I go? WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. He's the best injury attorney in the state of California. He can help anybody in the state of California, and I'm sure he can help you. If you just got questions, you're just trying to figure out, hey, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. That's where Brad Wallace and his team could come into play. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. As you guys know, if you guys listened to the show on Friday, he's a big fan of the channel, obviously a big fan of the Lakers, and somebody that clearly is trying to help wherever he can. So shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm, and I appreciate you guys also depending on one of our partners to try to help in whatever situation or predicament that you're in. All right, we got some NBA news. How good was the NBA Cup on Saturday? Come on. All right, the Orlando-New York game wasn't all that good. Orlando hit a shot. Why do I root against the Knicks? I don't even understand what it is. But I don't know why the Knicks. I don't know what is it. Is it the fan base? Fan base celebrating after second round wins like they just won 3 championships in a row. I can't even tell you what it is. I found myself rooting for Paulo Banchero and everybody else. Why did I pronounce it that way? Banchero. I don't know what it is about that. But anyways, that game, nothing special, nothing too great about that game. But I will say I want to spend just a quick second here on hitting on the NBA Cup. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch San Antonio and the Oklahoma City Thunder. But let me kind of tie in a little bit of NBA news here. We'll do the NBA Cup. We'll look at some of your comments, and then we'll call it a Monday. Eric Pincus, by the way, coming up tomorrow. So please tune in tomorrow as well, and we'll get Eric Pincus' thoughts on the Lakers and everything else. All right, so NBA Cup, San Antonio Spurs, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder, that's the team. The moment, by the way, Shea said, yeah, we're trying to break Golden State Warriors record. I'm like, not good, Shea. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say you're trying to beat the 73-win Warriors team. Just stay under the radar like you guys are. Listen, there's going to be some other teams that are prideful, and it's like these guys are trying to embarrass the entire league. We got a chance to see the San Antonio Spurs last week. I can't tell you how impressed I was with their team. They're relentless. They're fearless. They look like they're ready right now. They didn't have Wemby. Wemby came in on Saturday. Wemby was kind of talking his shit too, flexing a couple different times. That might be the two best teams in the NBA. I mentioned that on Friday. San Antonio might be the second best team in the entire Western Conference. And here we are worried about Denver and Houston, and obviously the Lakers are trying to throw themselves in the mix. Minnesota has made the Western Conference Finals the last 2 years. Watching the San Antonio Spurs on Saturday, I think the entire league just shifted their attention, was like, is San Antonio already ready to compete in the Western Conference? They look like it. This is why some of these other teams I don't think are going to go out and try to make a Giannis trade or something like that. They're like, no, we're good. We're good. We can keep building within. We got young stars. They got a lot of young players, but I just thought the NBA Cup in Vegas on Saturday night, seeing those two teams go at it. You guys know I'm a fan of the NBA. So maybe there's some people here who are Laker fans, and if it's not a Laker game, they don't want to watch. Maybe if it's not a Lakers game, they want to hate on everybody else. Not this guy. I'm trying to watch me some NBA. I enjoy watching the NBA. That was a fun game on Saturday night. It was fun to see the San Antonio Spurs do what they did. And NBA Cup is going to be the New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs tomorrow night. It's going to be the NBA Cup. Not going to lie here. I kind of like being honest with everybody here. Kind of churning a little bit here. NBA Cup caught my attention this year. I enjoyed the NBA Cup this year. Just don't put up a banner. It's my only problem. Don't put up a banner. Some scores around the NBA. Give everyone an idea what we got going on tonight. We'll continue this recap here that we have going on. By the way, the recap, as always, NBA, the weekend recap is presented by the Wallace firm. So shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm, wallacewins.com/Sliwa. So there's some scores around the NBA. There are games tonight. A couple good ones too. Pistons and the Celtics tonight. Phenomenal. Rockets and the Nuggets tonight. Phenomenal. Both of those games on Peacock. So 4 o'clock, Pistons and the Celtics. 6:30, Rockets and the Nuggets. Grizzlies and the Clippers play as well at 7:30. So at least you get an idea of what Clippers are 6-19. Oh my God. What a train wreck. So it gives you an idea what some of the NBA games are for tonight. There was one NBA story that I was going to get into. Nothing too big. The Cleveland Cavaliers, I'm doing the post-game show yesterday, and I'm going through some of the scores around the NBA. Charlotte beat the Cavs at home 119-111. The Cavs are now 15-12. I guess the fans in Cleveland were booing the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell's response, we deserve it. I was a fan once. I would boo us too. Now, that's a good freaking polished answer by Donovan Mitchell. What's going on with the Cleveland Cavaliers? Really odd to see how bad they're playing. You know, I said this before the season started. If it's not Knicks and the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals, then one of those two teams need to be blown up. Because if there's ever an opportunity for both of those teams to be there, it would be this season in the NBA. Celtics got injuries. Pacers got injuries. Bucks are in a free fall. Who knows what's going to happen to Giannis? But the Cavs struggling, while the New York Knicks are actually playing some good basketball. Okay, final thing I want to get into from a recap perspective. Then I'm going to look at your comments. Then we're going to call it a day. Real quick, NFL scores. Around the NFL, some really good games yesterday. I didn't get a chance to really watch any of these games. Really sucks here. Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs eliminated from the playoffs. They lose to the Chargers 16-13. Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL. I mean, come on. Could you have asked for a worse season than for the Kansas City Chiefs? 6-8. They're not going to make the playoffs. You know, and I'm not sitting here trying to tell everybody that I'm watching every single game, but just a complete free fall from the Kansas City Chiefs, a complete free fall from that organization. And then yesterday was just like the cap of it all. Mahomes tears ACL as Chiefs playoff hopes end. So Just a train wreck of a season for the Kansas City Chiefs. I do want to mention, if we're looking at some of the scores real quick, and then I'm going to do the standings, and then we're going to get out of here. I'll read a couple comments. Bills come back from down 21. They win 35-31 against the Patriots in Foxborough. Phenomenal game. What were the other big games? Packers, Broncos. Broncos now 12-2. I mean, are you shocked or surprised? You get good coaching in the NFL, your franchise is going to turn around. The Broncos under Sean Payton now 12-2. Packers now 9-4 after the loss. Rams down early, come back. I think it's the best team in the NFL. Beat the Lions 41-34. So there are just some big-time games coming over these next couple of weeks. Seahawks and the Rams this Thursday night. I know Devontae Adams is questionable, I think, for that game. But Seahawks are 11-3. Rams are 11-3. Oh, my gosh. How good is the NFL going to be this weekend? And the NFL is just the NFL. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. All right. Last thing that I'm going to do, just playoff picture right now. Denver, New England, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Chargers, and Buffalo are the top 6. Houston just lurking behind, trying to get into the mix. Rams, Bears, Eagles, Bucks, Seahawks, 49ers, Green Bay on the outside looking in right now. There's some really, really good teams in the NFL. How does Tampa Bay get in with a 7-7 record? I hate this division shit. How is a team going to get in with 3 less wins than another squad? Are you kidding me? Let's go grab Sliwa. Bro, you just tell me when. I mean, are you kidding me? You know who you're talking to? I love Fa. All right, let's get a couple more in here. Then we're done. Done. Let's see what else we have here. See a couple more. What do we got? Got a couple stars here. Okay, here's one. Why Luka taking 14 threes and ineffective? Luka can be very selfish. We have Ayton having a perfect game, and Luka continues to jack up threes. Fair criticism. I got no problem with that criticism, especially if your shot's not falling. If you told me Luka was 8 of 14 from the three-point line, I'd say, what the hell are you talking about? By the way, Luka and LeBron yesterday, 14 turnovers between both of those players. I'll tell you why he was taking threes. I think the lazier you get in the league and your shot's not falling, when I say lazier you get in a game, you depend on threes. I think that was what was happening yesterday, but I don't question that. Luka was not good yesterday. He wasn't. Luka didn't shoot well from the field. Luka was jacking up threes. Luka had a lot of turnovers. I don't disagree with you. There's one thing that I will not do. Just because it's a star player, be like, oh, we can't say any criticism. No, you can criticize as much as you want. Of course you can. Let's get a couple more and then we're done. Let's see. Vando is making the beat go extra hard today. Vando was phenomenal yesterday. Just phenomenal. Just tremendous yesterday. And what Vando just earned himself, we're going to end the show on this. What Vando earned himself as well is, you better have me in some of these games. Your squad can't play defense. I can play defense. You could depend on me on defense. Let me help change the perspective of the game. That's what Vando has earned himself with what he did yesterday. And I think there's going to be a lot of people incredibly upset if Vando doesn't get those opportunities. What are we at here? A minute 8? So close to a minute 10. I want that round number. I want to hit 1-1-0. Let's get a couple more of these here and we're done. As long as Vando does not try to create plays, he should be on the floor. That's not his game. Did you guys hear what I'm saying when I mentioned this yesterday? And you guys tell me if you agree with this. I've watched the Lakers play games where they couldn't miss a shot and it was fun. Last night, watching the Lakers in this like 6-7 minute stretch where Phoenix was just suffocated with the Lakers defense, deflections everywhere, everybody kind of getting up from the bench, guys kind of, giving love and credit to where that to me is as good as any offensive play that I can watch. Now, I'm a purist of the NBA, so I'm okay with defense. I don't need high scoring 125 to 130 games. I can watch a 95 to 100 game and be okay with it because there's two sides of the floor. I think there is some truth here in regards to that, as far as obviously getting a chance to give players opportunities that can change the scope of the game. It's not one side of the floor is not going to win it for you. Just like if you're all defense, you're going to need some defensive players as well. I mean, offensive players as well. All right, people, that's all I got. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. You guys are phenomenal. Shout out, by the way. Thank you to Harris Resort for joining the team here, being a part of the show. Very, very happy to have him on. Thank you to Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm, our OG, of being a part of the channel as well. Thank you to all of you guys. Shout out also, we just got to 34,000 subscribers. So thank you, everybody. Got to that 34,000 mark. I appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday. I'm back on tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eric Pink is joining the show tomorrow morning. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your day. See you tomorrow morning.